Hi everyone, and welcome back. I hope that you are as excited about fall as I am because I am just so ready for some cooler weather, cozy scented candles, and books. And I truly feel like I haven't really seen much about a lot of the books that are coming out this fall, and there are some really good ones. So don't you worry, I am going to share all about the books that I am excited for this fall. I figured that the easiest way to share about these books with you would be to go month by month. So in the month of October, there are a few books that I think you should keep an eye out for. The first book that I want to share about with you is Starling House. And this is by author Alex Harlow. And I previously read a book by this author called The Once and Future Witches, and it was the perfect witchy book for October, so you already know that I am excited and on board for this new release. The Starling House is said to be a contemporary Gothic fairy tale about a town that can't seem to bury its history. And we also are following a very smart young woman who is kind of unwrapping some of this history and who is obsessed with this Gothic home. This book comes out on October 3rd, so be on the lookout if this sounds like a good pick for you. I know that I truly cannot wait to read it for the month of October. Another book that's coming out in October that I truly cannot wait to get my hands on is a new one by Cassandra Clare. This new book is called The Swordcatcher and comes out on October 10th. From what I saw on Goodreads, this is going to be a young adult high fantasy romance duology. I haven't actually read anything from this author yet, but I have seen such incredible reviews for this author's fantasy writing, and I have been on the biggest fantasy kick lately. It's what I want to read all the time, and I personally feel like fantasy is the perfect fit anytime, but especially in fall, because when it's getting a little bit cooler and you can enjoy sitting outside reading, you want to really dive into those books, and there's no better way to do that than through fantasy. So from what I read, this is about a boy who has dedicated his life to protecting the prince. And it's also about a girl who feels like she needs to restore magic in the world. And at the crossroads of it all is a town that is unlike any other. I mean, come on. That sounds like such a perfect fantasy read. Add it to my list. The next October release that I feel like you should know about is The Rosewood Hunt. First, take a look at the cover because it is just super stinking cute. I cannot wait to add it to my bookshelves. And also, what I saw about this book is it is about a girl whose grandmother unfortunately passes away. But things really start to get out of control when her grandmother's billion-dollar fortune goes missing. The synopsis says, even in death, Graham has a few tricks up her couture sleeve, and that just sounds fantastic. It also says that there is a letter left behind to give clues to a few people. That is giving me some major Inheritance Games vibes. I loved that series. I have a feeling I'm going to love this one as well. I also forgot to mention it, but this book releases on October 31st, so that wraps up all of the October new releases that I'm super excited for. Let's move into November. As we head into the November books that I feel like you need to be prepared for before their release, I just have to mention that it is a major month for publishing. There are a lot of really incredible books that are releasing in November, and there are 4 books on my TBR that are releasing on the exact same day. I personally feel like this means I have every reason to convince my husband that I need to go on another book shopping haul. Let me know if you agree. But how crazy is it that 4 books that I'll share with you that are going to be big are all coming out on the exact same day? The first book that I'm going to share about is one that I have been waiting months for. And when I tell you that on release day, I'm not doing a single thing besides reading this book, I mean it. And of course, that book is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. If you are not familiar, this is the sequel to Fourth Wing, which everyone everywhere was talking about, and for good reason. It was a fantastic book. And this is going to be the sequel to that, and it's a fantasy, and we're essentially going to pick up where we left off in that book, which was on a pretty great cliffhanger. So I have extremely high hopes for this book. I loved Fourth Wing. It was one of my 5-star reads for the year, and I have been waiting so long to get my hands on this sequel. The line that really caught my eye from the synopsis of this book was it says that Violet knows the real secret of the War College, and not even Dragonfire may be able to save them all from what she knows. What does that mean, you guys? And to know that this is a multiple book series and we are only just now getting book 2, I am so excited to continue this series. I completely failed to mention that our first 2 books in November come out on November 7th. The third book that comes out on November 7th is Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. Now, I really haven't been into romance that much. Like I said, I am on a major fantasy kick, or pretty much just anything other than romance. I have read some of them lately, I just haven't enjoyed them. I'm sorry, I know that so many of you love a good romance, and I used to. But all of that to say, I do feel like an exception to that is Lauren Asher. I read the Dreamland Billionaire series by her this year, and I loved it. I devoured it, loved the characters, would definitely read it again. So I am super hopeful that this will be a really great start to a new romance series from her. This book is the first in her new Lakefront Billionaire series, and it is said to be a small town, steamy romance between childhood friends turned enemies. So I would imagine this is going to be an enemies to lovers situation, and you can count me in. The third exciting release for November 7th is Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldree. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, but if it sounds familiar or if the cover art looks familiar, that's because this author also wrote Legends and Lattes, which this new book is going to be the prequel to. I read Legends and Lattes last year around the same time, maybe it was November or December, and it's a cozy fantasy, which means it is absolutely perfect for this season. From what I saw on Goodreads, it says that this book is going to be high fantasy, first loves, and books. Stop it. I love all of those things. If you haven't read Legends and Lattes yet, I would highly recommend that you do that, especially as we head into the fall and winter months. But if you have read it, and if you loved it, which I know you did because it was a great book, then you should definitely look at checking this one out once it releases. The last November 7th book that I need to share with you is a new one from Ali Hazelwood, and that is called Check and Mate. And this one's actually going to be very different from some of her majorly popular books, such as Love on the Brain, The Love Hypothesis, Love Hypothetically, Theoretically. I'm just kidding, I said that one wrong. But anyways, it is going to be different than the other books that we have seen from her, and that's because this book is going to be a young adult romance. All that I really know about this one is that our 2 main characters are chess obsessed. That's it. That's kind of all that I know about it. But I truly feel like I saw a video recently on Haley Pham's channel, and she got an arc of the book and said that she loved it. So I'm hoping that this is going to be a fantastic book. I have loved 2 out of the 3 books that I've read from Ali Hazelwood, so I'm going to give this one a try, and I can't wait to try something new from her and see how it goes. The next November book that I don't think I have seen anywhere but that you need to add to your list is The Mystery Guest by Nita Prose. And this is going to be an interconnected standalone, I think, to The Maid, which we had from Nita Prose. I say I think because it's possible that this book could be a sequel, but I'm fairly positive that I read somewhere that you didn't have to read The Maid to enjoy this one. But either way, if you read The Maid, this is another book in that world. So I did read The Maid last year, and I loved it a lot more than I was expecting to. I actually still think about Molly as a character because I just found her really entertaining and I found her enjoyable, and I just loved the book. And actually, it was one of the very first reviews that I did on my channel, so it's super special to me to see another book coming from this author and in this same world. And I can't wait to see how Molly is different after the events of the first book. Maybe she's exactly the same, I don't know. The synopsis of this book says that an acclaimed author dies at the Regency Grand Hotel, and one very thorough Molly the maid starts to uncover the truth. And if you are as excited as I am, this book releases on November 28th if you'd like to pick it up. There are plenty of other really incredible releases that are coming out this fall. I have just shared the ones that I am super excited to read, and please let me know if you do know of something else that's coming out that I didn't mention. I am always looking for a good book recommendation. And also, if there are any of the books that I've mentioned that you want me to do a review on, please let me know, because I so enjoy talking to you guys about the books that we're reading and about my thoughts, and share your thoughts with me on some of these books as well. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!